What's up, Lowlives? Welcome to your Friday. It's your boy, Rhino, a.k.a. Rhino Dick, a.k.a. the Wily Rhino. With me, as always, my trusty co-host, Danny Panhead.
What's up, my boy?
What up, my boy?
I don't know.
We're having some technical difficulties today, so hopefully we can get through this one with less technical difficulties.
What else is new?
This is fucking shitty. But fuck it, dude. I'm stoked. We are kicking off Idle Hands 2 today, fellas. All right? So when you hear my voice, that means that you can go over to www.thelowlifepodcast.com and submit your project for IHS2. Okay? We're going to get into the meat and potatoes, the nuts and bolts, the cream and sugar of the Idle Hands show. We're going to talk about what we have planned for next year, what we're going to be doing differently, and what we're going to be doing the same. I'll let you know right now, we're doing pretty much everything exactly the same.
Pretty much. Just a little refined.
Yeah,
Polished.
We're going to refine what we've done because I think that the Idle Hand show was a resounding success because of the idea behind it and the people behind it, right? So we're going to see if lightning can strike twice, which scientifically we know that it can.
Yeah.
It's a scientific possibility. Highly improbable, but we'll see. But yeah, this year's Idle Hands show is just going to be Idle Hands 1, but on steroids, testosterone, and cocaine. It's going to be everything you loved about Idle Hands show 1, but it's going to be bigger, badder, and better. Because we're hoping that we have our shit together enough this time, which I think we do.
I think so too.
We got over Idle Hands 1 in that same day, like that Sunday night, me and Dan went to go relax after a long weekend, and we were just texting each other what we wanted to do for the next year. And that just snowballed into more ideas, bigger ideas. We already started a moving and a shaking. We started calling places, talking to people. We're getting shit organized, guys. So Idle Hands 2 is going to be, if you were at Idle Hands 1, it was a bit of a clusterfuck, okay? It was our first year show, and we're running around, and by the grace of our loyal Lowlife listeners, we were able to pull it off, you know? But this year we want to help you guys more, right? We don't want to just be like, I don't want it to be like a backyard barbecue. And you're like, hey, help me move some chairs, you know? Like I want to have this shit locked down so everybody knows what they need to do and when they need to do it. But let's kick this fucker off by just saying, what the fuck is the Idle Hand show? If you're just tuning in, like you've been, I don't know, on the International Space Station and you lost communication behind the dark side of the moon and you didn't know, you have no idea what the Idle Hand show is. And you just touched back down to earth and you're like, I'm going to build a fucking chopper, dude. And you saw my face in your algo talking some shit. Then this is what the Idle Hand show is, guys. All right.
Happy birthday.
Lean in. The Idle Hand show is a chopper building competition and a show. There's a $10,000 grand prize for the motherfucker that builds the baddest chopper. Okay? Here's what's different about the Idle Hand show than any other show. If you have the tenacity, you got the brass balls, and you throw your hat in the ring when we're signing up and you submit a bike project to be in the Idle Hand show, you're in the show. It's that simple. You'll have a little plaque by your wheel. You're in the show because this show is about converting every fucking motorcycle into a chopper. That's the goal of the Idle Hand show. That's the goal of the Lowlife podcast. It's not debatable, guys. Choppers are the best motorcycles. I like other motorcycles. I like them, but I'm not in love with them, okay? You look at a chopper and you go, hot diggity dog. That's the coolest motherfucking thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And you're right, okay? So our mission is to convert all these stock and cafe racers and bobbers and trikes and make them into choppers, okay? So
choppers.
It's got to be a chopper, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to compete, all right? But it's a friendly competition because the point of the show is you build a chopper, you get to ride a chopper. So you show up at our show with a running bike and you've already won, right? You win just for entering, just for saying, I made a commitment, I'm going to build a chopper this year. You know what I mean? That's a win in my book. In the book of life, that commitment's a win. Whether you make it to the finish line or not, at least you're saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make something of myself, Mom. I'm going to do something this year. Make it be your New Year's resolution. Build a chopper. It could be your first one. It could be your 40th one. Maybe you've been disenfranchised with the chopper community or competitions in general, and you're like, I don't need that shit. Well, here, it's come back into the fold, baby. This is your space, all right? This is for you. So the chopper competition, only 13 lucky sons of bitches that have the chops to build the best choppers in the world will be able to compete for the $10,000 prize. There will be 3 cuts, and at the end of that, we will select one. Go ahead and look at all the sizzle reels from Idle Hands 1. We started with 150 bikes last year. I don't know how many we're going to get this year. Hopefully more. Hopefully more than 150 to start. The timeline is, right? We take submissions starting today, Junior. Then you got to get your shit together. All right? We're taking submissions through the end of August. So September 1st at midnight, submissions are closed. All right? So you have to get your bike submitted prior to that time. Then we close the books on submission. Then it's on. All right? But as soon as you submit, you can start rocking. Okay? You can start rocking right now before your submission's in. But you got to have an exploded view. All right? So we want everybody to be basically at the same starting point. There's no way to make it 1,000% equal, okay? But c'est la vie, as they say in French. The exploded view means that you're already 4 months into a chopper project. It's not a roller. Right. You haven't done the wheel spacers, right? You just have a project. It's in pieces. It's on the ground. I have an example of this. I'm going to put it up on our Instagram. It's on the submission form website, so you know what an exploded view is. Just an aerial view, top down. Look at all the parts that you have. It could be a carburetor sitting next to a milk crate full of rusty chains. Some people last year, they just submitted tubing. That's all they had. There's some fucking stainless steel tubing.
Yep.
Whatever you have, it could be anything. If you're going to make it into a chopper, take that picture and get in on the submission, because part of the game, baby, is hustling and getting your shit together. All right. We know how it is. So if you have just an engine, if you have just a frame or whatever you have, submit it and see where it goes. Worst case scenario is you bitch out. But, we're not going to call you out live on air. You're the only one that's going to have to live with that guilt forever. So just get your submissions in, and now it's on. All right. The first cut is going to occur October 1st. So you submitted all through August. Submissions are closed in September. Now put some shit together. Take those parts and start building that chopper. There's going to be an update a week. Typically, we do 1 week before the cutoff date. You have time to update on Instagram, invite, collab. We'll post it. You're in, right? So I'll just back up for a second. After you submit, and pardon me, because I already had to stop a recording and we already had like 10 minutes done. So I don't know what I've said or not before, but this is how you submit your project. Go to www.thelowlifepodcast.com. All right. Don't accidentally type in .com, because that'll bring you to a different website and it is not safe for work. All right. Make sure you have your volume off, but www.thelowlifepodcast.com. You will be greeted with a Idle Hands page. There's an Idle Hands page that has pictures from Idle Hands 1, a little sizzle reel, got it like what the spirit of the show is about, right? About one builder, one bike, building shit in your garage, doing shit yourself, pressing yourself, acquiring new skills, new tools, right? Growing as a human being. That's what it's about. But there's also a link to the submission form. All right. The submission form, I'm going to need your name. I'm going to need your address. I'm going to need your Instagram handle. If you don't have Instagram, that's how we do the cuts. So you got to get an Instagram. You don't have to have any followers. This is not a popularity contest. This is not, a people's choice competition. All right. So the Idle Hands, some dudes just started one and all they had was their update posts on the Idle Hands. Right. But that's how we run it. That's how you can show people what you're doing and all that shit. So your email, all that shit, and where you're from. So we want to know where you're coming from. And to me, I don't know if it's a big deal to everybody else, but I like to represent the state I'm from. You know what I mean? Like I want people to know, like I'm representing. And I thought like a lot of dudes that were in this competition, they were proud. Colorado, dude, they were talking mad shit in the beginning, and then they brought it home, and it's still going on now. Those Colorado boys came in heavy, mad respect. So you're representing your state, you're representing wherever your country. This is an international show, man. If you can get out here in New Hampshire in July, you can compete, right? So on the submission form, fill out the deets. Once you submit it, I'm going to get an email. I'm going to have that exploded view picture that you sent. I'm going to have all your details so I can communicate with you and send you stuff, right? So if you progress throughout the competition, you're going to get things like, welcome packet and all this sort of shit. What I'm going to do from there is I'm going to post on Instagram and invite you to collab. Real simple. You're going to get a message with the picture that you took, with the bio that you put in the description, with your name, where you're from, all that shit. And I'm going to ask you to collab on the post. You hit accept and it's on the Idle Hands page. You're in, right? This is just for the initial submission is through the website. So we have a way to communicate with people. I have a way to send you things and communicate without doing a fucking group chat, right? I know a lot of you motherfuckers hate those things. So submit on the website. I'm going to send a collab to you shortly thereafter, and then you're in and you're chopping, right? So get to work right then and there. All right. Don't wait a minute. Now you're in. September comes, we close submissions. You're building your ass off. We're going to do our first cut. First of 3 cuts, October 1st. So you got to make that pile of parts into something that people want to look at in a month. I mean, if the earlier you get in, the more time you have, right? So if you're wafering, get in as soon as possible, because then you have 2 months. If you get in on the last day, you only got 1 month. But this is what sets Idle Hands apart from a lot of building competitions. We do not have a people's choice voting. We don't do that. And every, motorcycle event that you go to, there's a people's choice and people put little tickets into the fucking mason jars, and there's online voting for other competitions and stuff. We wanted to do something different. So what we have is 3 heavily credentialed judges that know choppers. They can see what you see. They see a pile of parts and they can see the chopper. Their mind takes those parts like Nikola Tesla, and he can just like put together like nuts and bolts and he can see it. You know about Nikola Tesla?
A little.
Yeah, dude, his fucking mind, he would look at shit and he could just put it all together. Like he knew where every single screw was, like in his mind, before he ever did anything in the metaphysical world. He would just build, and he was building weird shit, dude. So anyways, our judges last year, we had Big Truth from Chop Ahead, John and Craig from the Easy Co., and John Moorhead, Long John Chopper Co. Heavily credentialed judges, have all built for major competitions, have been in major competitions, own shops, build award-winning bikes, and that's how we do the voting. Me and Dan do not vote. Okay, me and Dan do not vote. I can't stress this enough because I thought we made it abundantly clear last year, but we had people in the DMs begging us to vote for them. I don't vote. Dan doesn't vote. We have 3 judges that we pick. They do all the voting, and it's rank ordered, right? So everybody's vote counts for a certain amount of points, right? So if you have like the motherfucking coolest chop, and everybody agrees, you're going to get a shit ton of points in the voting, right? That's how it works. And there's no ties, and we don't have to do any tiebreakers or anything like that. So it's a rank ordered vote. So let's say we have 100 bikes submitted. On October 1st, we're going to have our judges do the voting, and we're cutting it down to 50. Okay? It doesn't matter if we have 300 bikes. We're cutting it down to 50. 50 bikes. All right? Now, all those other bikes, if you didn't get voted in to the A side, we call it, right? That's the main comp. You're now on the B side. You still building a bike. You're still in the show. You're still a part of the show. You're going to be on display right next to our freak show invited builders. You're going to be right on display right next to the A-siders. The B side is the heart of this competition. Do not bow out. Finish the chop. That's what we're here for. Okay? A-siders, right? You're competing for the 10 grand. All right? Let's get into, Dan, why don't you? I've been talking for way too long now, and I'm parched. I need to take a sip. But
I believe it.
Do us the honorable distinction of announcing our 3 new celebrity judges.
This is so fucking rad. I'm so excited for this part. All right.
You muted yourself.
Damn it.
Start again. Mulligan.
Our Idle Hands judges for Idle Hands 2 are none other than Clay Crick, White Trash, White Rice, out of Pennsylvania, our motherfucking boy. So, incredibly credentialed judge, winner of Bill Wells People's Champ, Born Free Texas Invited Builder. He goes to all the Orange County Invitationals every year, Paul Senior shows. Unbelievable builder, unbelievable person, and one of the guys I think of personally when I think garage builder. So, very excited to have Clay on. He's going to be a huge asset to the show. Next, we have Dustin Porter, Shovel Pan 69 of Ohio. This is sick. This is so sick. Eyesore Cycles. If you guys aren't already, I mean, you must. But if you aren't already
I think everybody on Instagram follows Dusty.
I think it comes. Followers. Yeah, I think it comes with your Instagram account. I think he's just already
like
in
MySpace. You were automatically friends with Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you go through what are your likes, if a motorcycle's anywhere in there, you get Dusty. So he's the fucking man. He built a killer bike and brought it out to Idle Hands 1. And I mean, the guy's just indisputable as far as building bikes. He does his own front ends. And he's not just like a one-trick pony. He's not just like a Harley guy. He's done Harley. He's done metric. He's done it all in between. He's ridden the fuck out of them.
He's a big metric guy, yeah.
Big metric guy. Yep, exactly. Just super overall cool story, cool dude. And we're honored to have him on as our judge. And our last one. Do you want to do our last one?
It's our girl, Haylerization. Everybody's favorite Authentic Carney, by the way. Go back and listen to her episodes. She is, I'm most excited about this. I was begging her to come to Idle Hands 1. Mm-hmm. I was begging her. I was on my hands and knees. She couldn't see because I was just on Instagram. But I'm super stoked that she agreed to come. She's our Canadian friend. Mm-hmm. She's a garage builder, full stop. She builds
100%.
Everything by herself. She doesn't buy shit. She builds axle plates. She just does wacky, fun shit, dude. And she's a barrel of monkeys. I love Haley.
Yep.
And I'm so stoked that she agreed to be a part of this. And she was stoked. Actually, the coolest part too was we had a short list of Idle Hands judges that were like, we want like these people. Those were the top 3. Was Haley, Dusty, and Clay. And every single one of them, as soon as we asked, they were like, fuck yeah. That sounds amazing. Yes. So
yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you to those judges. I'm super stoked. I love that it's brand new game here, guys. You know, like, because one thing we found out, or I already knew, but everybody has an asshole and everybody has opinions, and most of them stink. You know what I mean? So like what I would vote for, what Dan would vote for, what, whoever John Q viewer would vote for, completely different. All right. So every time that we're going to do the Idle Hands, we're going to have a new panel of judges. They're always going to be heavily credentialed, so you can't argue with them. or you can. They're all online, I guess. You can give them shit, but they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. I mean, Clay specifically, dude, he's a savant. That dude is in his 20s and he's building shit that I'll never build in my life. You know,
I wouldn't.
like he's
Wouldn't even have the idea.
He's a fucking prodigy, dude. You know.
Yeah. And the most humble guy in the world, but he knows he's another one. He's not just a metric guy or whatever either. He's built all of them. All three of them are very, very diverse. And as far as I'm concerned, are very, very cemented in their position as garage builders. Like when I think garage builders and like, the big names that you hear in the chopper world, especially on social media wise, those three immediately come to my mind. You know what I mean? So who better to represent the competition? You know what I mean? And as far as the competition is concerned, it is always going to be a rule in idle hands that the judges are the only ones who do any of the judgment as far as the idle hands winner is concerned. As far as the $10,000 prize is concerned, the only judgment is those three judges from start to finish. It's the only way we can keep it fair. Continuity is the same three pair of eyes. It's getting looked at the same bikes the entire time. So we will have a people's choice element that will be a side trophy at Idle Hands that we will I will not drop the ball this year, and we will have tickets in the jars and the fucking whatever, you know what I mean? So when you come in, you'll get a ticket or something along those lines. And then we will have we'll
do something special for that too, because we do care about the people, and it's just the judging for me is just that it alleviates us from the burden of doing that. I don't want to be a judge in my own show because I don't want to be, it's hard to do that because you're making and breaking spirits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for sure.
people get bummed out when they get cut. They're like, why not me? Like, what could I have done differently? But don't ask me. I'm not judging. You know what I mean? And me and Dan would have judged differently last year than the judges did. But that's what's cool about the judges is they know what they're looking at. They understand choppers because we only have a handful of rules here, guys. All right. Do it yourself. Chopper shit. And there is no rules. Right. So
other than submit a fucking not a roller.
Yeah, I put
don't submit a roller.
If you submit a roller, I'm not going to post it.
Don't. I mean, we have to.
There's rules to the competition. All right,
right?
Because we have to have the show run a certain way. There's no rules to building. That's the no rules.
Right.
Okay. So you can build whatever the fuck you want. You
can
build a rubber.
Do you mind if I just
a rubber ducky with wheels? I don't give a fuck. But if you don't submit an exploded view, you're not in the competition. If you don't update before the deadline, you're out of the competition. And this is something that we learned. We learned this last year the hard way by being a little too lax about certain things. That people just, that's where you get problems. Is if you're wishy-washy, like, oh, so and so missed a deadline, can you still let him in because his shit is cool? It's like, no, if you miss the deadline, you're out. If you don't submit your update properly, you're going to be out. We can't, it's too much bullshit for me. And I don't have enough space for that. I don't have the bandwidth for that kind of bullshit. Because what happens is you start making exceptions for certain people and shit, and then it's not fair. And then it's not fun. And this whole fucking competition is about having fun. Dude, we have the three of the funniest, coolest judges. Dude, hang out with Haley, Dusty, or Clay, and you're going to have a good time. And they all fucking know what the fuck they're talking about. It's just going to be a fucking blast.
Let me just burn through these. These are the things that we're not going to relent on this year. Your submission must be an exploded view of disassembled parts. Don't have handlebars on your front end. Don't have a wheel in your front end. Don't have a seat on your frame. If it's two separate parts, disassemble them. Anyone can enter. One bike, one builder to win. If you have two or three of your buddies and you don't have the chops to do your own and you still want to enter with your buddies, we're not saying no, but you're not going to win. Okay? That's, again, this is the judges, but what they're looking for is one bike, one builder. That's the thing of the store or the show. And then the rules as far as what you can build, because we're not an authority on anything, it's DIY at your discretion, right? How DIY you go and how well you do those DIY things are going to determine how far you make in the competition, depending on the judge's discretion. The judges are the ones ultimately, it doesn't matter. Last year, we had a guy who sent his bike out for paint, and he was one of the finalists. He was one of the A-siders and got a lot of fucking compliments on that bike. It depends, what are you going for? It's your discretion. Are you an upholsterer? Are you going to try and learn how to upholster? Are you a painter? Are you going to try to learn how to paint? All that other stuff. So it's your discretion. You don't have to come to us or the judges and say, hey, is this allowed? Is that allowed? Is a cafe racer okay? You do whatever you want. But in order to win Idle Hands, the competition,
if that's what you're interested in. Yeah.
If that's what
you're just in it to build a bike for the B-side, fucking do whatever whatever you want. But again,
for sure,
do whatever you want anyways. Because it's not up to us. We're just we're just putting this thing together. As far as what the judges expect, we don't coach them on that shit. We don't tell them what's okay and what's not. We pick them and we trust them 100%. So whatever they see you doing online or whatever, that it is what it is.
Yep. Also, the other unrelenting things, you have to be able to get to New Hampshire July 9th through 11th, 2027. You got to be here for it. You know what I mean? We're not going to, you can't win if you're not here. And then one other thing, just fucking right off the rip, get it right out of the way. No shit bags, no hate mongers, no complainers. We will fucking boot you. That's it. We're not dealing with any. If you have some hateful fucking rage baiting presence on the internet, we are not going to be associated with it. All right. We don't stand for that. This is all comers, all are welcome. We don't care what or who you are or what you're about. This is for people who build choppers in their garages. That's it. And then one last thing about just making sure everybody's clear on this. It's on the builder to follow along with the show. It's not up to us to reach out to each and every one of you and go, hey, remember that cut? We're going to be doing that. We're going to be posting. We're going to be talking about it on the podcast. We're going to have it on the website. We're going to have it on Instagram. If by some weird thing, if you don't have an Instagram and you don't ever check your email and you've never gone on the internet before, then you're going to have to figure that out. We can't be responsible for checking in.
There's so many ways to know what the fuck is going on. We got the website. We're going to have all the dates there. We got Instagram. We're very active on that. And we have a fucking podcast every goddamn week. So if you don't know when the cuts are and shit, then, that's part of the competition, is just adhering to simple dates and stuff.
Right. You're entering a competition.
How are we going to trust that you're even going to show up at the fucking show? Oh, that's this July?
Yeah. You're entering a competition. We are not entering you into the competition. So if you're going to enter the competition, it's on you to stay up with the rules and regulations and time frames and whatever else.
Yeah. And again, this goes for B-siders too. If you're a B-sider and you don't update your shit, then we're not going to expect that you're going to be in the show. But we want to keep tabs. That's the other thing, is part of the new submission method is just so I can keep tabs on A-side and B-side and communicate with both of them. Because last year I lost track of the B-side. I didn't know who was coming. I didn't know, unless people reached out, we didn't know. So it's really important just for me to be able to get a hold of you, email or whatever, just so I can blast out, be like, hey, B-side, can you confirm that you're going to be here? We want to do more for the B-side this year. This year we want to have plaques made. We want to make sure that you have a day of welcome kit and field any questions for you, make sure everybody's on point. So yeah, if you're in it just to build a chopper and you're not in, heavy on the competition, throw your hat in the ring and just fucking do what you do best. Send the updates and hope for the best. Not a single one of the motherfuckers that was in the top 12 expected to be there. Not a single one of them, except maybe
it wasn't their point.
Glide. I think he said he expected to be in the top 12 or maybe the top 50 or something.
I think he said 50.
Well, with an idea like
none
that
of them,
and the execution of that Snowder cycle, dude, you can be pretty confident you're going to be in some shit. So it's important just to get the submission in, just to get involved.
Yeah, you can't participate if you don't enter. So, and it's all comers. Again, to reiterate, if you're new here, when you enter, when you submit, you're in. So as long as your submission form meets the criteria, you're in the show. You are invited to bring your bike to, at bare minimum, the B-side depending on how far you get in the competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then again, we're going to be doing this again. We're going to have our final 12 builders that are going to get voted through these cuts. And then the day of the show on Saturday, the 10th, the judges who are going to be present on site are going to look at all the bikes. They're going to pick their favorite B-side bike, and that B-side bike is going to be bumped to the A-side, thus eligible to win on the day.
The redemption
there is
pick.
a carrot, the redemption pick. There is a carrot at the end of the rope for everybody. What we want to happen at the end of this is for another 100 plus choppers to have been born into the world come next July. The most rewarding part so far for us has been realizing how many new choppers there are now that would not have existed otherwise had we not done Idle Hands. And that is a real cool feather in our cap as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, to see how hard everybody was working to complete their project toward the end was like A side, B side, even some of the freak show builders, like down to the wire, dude. Like the night before getting shit.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking John Luke was on the B side and he wasn't partying with us. He was at the garage fucking with his goddamn bike until 10 o'clock at night when his wife made him come and say, "What's up?" And that's what it's about, guys. It's about the struggle. It's about building fucking choppers, showing up, meeting deadlines, hanging out. Because once we're at the show, guys, it's a fucking party. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the competition, we have 3 cuts. If you throw your hat in, you're in. Just finish your chopper. That's all that matters in any shape. And by the way, that redemption pick is huge, dude. If you get cut, you can still win. You know what I mean? And MF
Don't
Choppers,
get discouraged.
He showed up with, and dude, at the time I was like, I'm glad he released like a reel of everything he had made on that fucking thing. He made everything on that fucking thing, dude. Insane build, and had
the judges,
every fucking right to be pulled over to the A side, dude.
Oh yeah, the judges made the right choice. I don't know if they talked to him. I don't know if they got to talk to everybody or if they are just that well tuned in. But they picked up on all that stuff, and when I didn't know exactly which one they were like. Yeah, the red XS650 is the one we're gonna pick, and I kind of looked. In my head, I'm like, really? They picked the XS650? Wow, that's pretty rad. I wasn't expecting that. And then I went and looked at it and was like, holy fuck. I knew it was MF's.
So, once you look at it, you're
that's
like,
a really
that's
cool
not
moment.
Bought. That's custom made.
No. He's got
actually, I think Dusty even said, like, when he saw it, he didn't realize how much was custom, because it was so well done.
He molded a watch into the fucking gas tank and stuff, like millions of little tiny things. So it was awesome. And that was exactly what I wanted in the redemption pick. You know what I mean? Was like the bike that bike could have been like, that could have been on the A side the whole time. But he, at one point he got eliminated and was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to keep going. And he didn't make us think about it on the internet. He didn't like complain or nothing. He just at his own speed, posted here and there. He did his own thing. He wasn't making a big fuss about it. He showed up and did the motherfucking thing. So that's one of my favorite parts about this show. So please don't ever get discouraged at any point in this. Nobody's out to get you. We all want you to finish your bike. Everybody here to the point. Let me just give you this quick anecdote to give you the general understanding of what the vibe here is. And we will accept no less than this. This competition is so much more of a community building exercise than it is an actual I'm going to win and make money competition. That we had A-side builders helping A-side builders to get their bikes running that they were in direct competition with for the $10,000. Now, if your bike doesn't run on the day, you can't win. You're still on the A-side, but you can't win. So it would have, competition-wise, it would have behooved these guys to just go, fucking, hey, these guys their bikes aren't starting. Now, fuck that. All of them were going around and helping all of the other A-siders to get their fucking bikes done, and nobody left until those motherfucking bikes ran. That's exactly what we're looking for here. The money is a cherry on top. The money is for who does the coolest shit, who has the best story, all that, you know what I mean? Like it's a big thing. It's about your bike. It's about what you do to it. but it's not the money is not why we want you to enter this. If you're entering this thinking I might be able to get 10K, not for nothing, 10K doesn't go that far anymore anyways. So, you know what I mean? You
Pay off some
invest it
bills.
somewhere else. You know what I mean? Build a fucking panhead and sell it. You'll make more than 10K.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're here for, this isn't really the show for you. But we want to make it worth your fucking while. If you can build the best bike and the judges pick you, you get fucking 10K. So that's what it's about. This is way more of a sociological fucking community exercise. Like for real. You know what I mean? That's the way
a
it felt
chopper
in the
show
first one.
about
Like
people.
I said,
it's a chopper
Right.
show about people.
we will accept no less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about it's about the people that show up that build choppers in their garage. We know how it is.
Right.
You know, we know that it's a lonely endeavor. You know, it's expensive. It's stupid. You hurt yourself. You're alone all the time. You're frustrated all the time. It's fucking tough. But we're giving you, and this is all it is. We're giving you an excuse to build that chopper. We're giving you a place to bring it,
Right.
so you can meet the people that you built with. You know, yeah, we're all over the United States, okay? But for this one weekend in July, you're all going to be in the same spot, and it's going to be a brother and sisterhood. Like, that's how it was in Idle Hands 1. All these people came together, and it was like you knew them because you've been talking to them all year. They've been following along, you know? It's just a great excuse to do something in real life, you know? IG and fucking Facebook and all that shit, that's not real life, you know? But you can make real life connections there, you know? And we had people sleeping at each other's houses just because they knew each other from the competition. Like Fat Man opened up his business to fucking strangers to come and use his tools and all that shit. And as a community, we fucking built something awesome, dude. And that's what it's about, building bikes and meeting people. And when you go to Idle Hands 2, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. If you weren't at Idle Hands 1, go to Idle Hands 2. And you're going to be like, this is like nothing I've ever seen before in my entire life. I guarantee you will make lifelong friends. Guaranteed. I'm going to be one of them.
For sure.
If you show up at my show and you built a fucking bike and you're supporting the builders of the bikes and you're supporting the show and shit, you're my boy. You're my boy. About that simple.
boy.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
Yeah, great points Dan brought up. I just want to just hustle back to one. You're free to, it's a free country. You have free speech. You can say whatever you want. But if you bitch at me on the internet, I'm not going to fucking talk to you. I don't do that. I don't argue on text and stuff, you know? Like, so
Yeah.
if you have a bellyache about, you know, getting cut or, you know, you don't think someone's doing something, tell it to your wife, tell it to your boys. Don't tell it to me. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. That's just, I just don't. I wish I did, but I have something in my brain. I just don't fucking care. And I hate bitching. So don't bitch to me, bitch to anybody else that you want, someone that would care. I'm not going to make you feel any better. This is really for your benefit, not mine. I mean, I just ignore that shit. So tell someone that cares.
We're not entertaining any of that shit this year.
Yeah, I just don't care. So I'm not going to pretend to. But yeah, that's why you have like wives and girlfriends and friends. You go drink a beer, go bitch about me, you know, somewhere else. Don't do it to me.
Right.
The other thing is, all right, so we got the A side, we got the B side. You submitted your bike. You got until October 1st to make that thing presentable for another update. You're going to send your update in on IG, tag us as a collaborator, and then the judges are going to judge you. You will be judged. Like I said, it's a rank order, and we try to get this out within a couple of days. We try to do it as quickly as possible. So, you know, bare minimum a week, probably. And we always announce the winners first on the Lowlife podcast. So if you are in the competition and you really want to know, the first way you're going to find out is not in an Instagram post. It's going to be on the Lowlife podcast. That following Friday, after the judges do their thing, we do a live stream. And if you are one of our Patreons, you get to listen. You get to listen in. And we don't abide snitching. So if you go and run to IG and post all the winners, you banned, you blocked. All right. But if you're one of our lovely Patreons that support our show, you're the first to know who made the cut. And you get to talk to other people. We have a very lively conversations on our live feed. So sign up for our Patreon and be the first to know. So October 1st is the first cut. First cut is the deepest. if we have 100 bikes, if we have 400 bikes, if we have 1,000,000 bikes, we're cutting it down to 50. 50, okay? From there, January 1st, we're going to kick off the new year, break some hearts. We're going to cut it in half again, down to 25. So same process. You're going to do a collab post week leading up to January 1st. I know it's during the holidays. Most people haven't done fuck all with their bikes. They're broke. They spent all their money on Hanukkah gifts. So January 1st is the second cut. We're cutting it down to 25. Finally, on April Fool's Day, 2027, April 1st, we all have a laugh. We're going to cut it down again to 12. I just short-circuited.
Today,
I was just trying to
Junior.
figure out. I was like, what's half of 25? It's not 12. It's 12 and a half, but we can't have a half a builder. So what we do is we cut it down to 12. All right. And that's the devil's dozen. But the devil dozen is not complete until the day of the show, July 10th. All right. So from April 1st to July 10th, those last 12 are going to be building their asses off. The B-side's going to be building their asses off. And then we do our devil's dozen, our 13th builder, our redemption pick the day of the show. Okay. So that's your timeline. I'm going to have this all posted on the website so you can refer back to it. And of course, all we talk about is idle hands on this podcast usually. So as a deadline is looming, we will make sure everybody's well aware. We'll be posting it to our stories on IG. I don't do Facebook. I think our Facebook is connected to our IG. I've never gone over there.
Posts
If you've
automatically.
messaged me or tried to friend me on that, I don't do it. So get on Instagram, I guess. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's the timeline. Now, the day of the show is what we're going to get into that a little bit. But the day of the show is when we pick. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently this year, but it starts with a starting of the bikes. Okay, so you can't be. We're not one of those shows where it's like, yeah, I don't care if your bike starts. We're about running choppers. That's the hardest part, right? Everybody had a chopper that looked good, but you got to get it to run. What the fuck's the point of having a bike that doesn't run? Okay. So at the beginning of the show, everybody kicks over their bikes or puts a fucking button, starts up their bike. And if your bike doesn't start, you're disqualified. You can't be a redemption pick and you can't be on the A side. Okay. That's just how she goes. So you have to have a riding bike. You don't have to do a bunch of shakedown miles on it. It just has to start. Okay. We want to make sure there's pistons in that motherfucker. Okay. Want to make sure that you're, you can actually start your bike, because that's just something me and Dan always thought was lame, is rolling a bike up that doesn't work, Not to say that I won't do that in the future if I'm invited to a show, but our show is about building bikes. It's a little bit different. You have a whole fucking year, so get your shit together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's the Idle Hand Show. That's how you submit August, or right now, just it's, what is it? The 31st today. Start submitting your bike, the lowlifepodcast.com, fill out the submission form, exploded view of your bike, get to chopping. You have until September 1st to submit. Please ask builders that you admire to come into our show. Ask your buddies who are great builders to come to our show. Spread the word. There's $10,000. If you're a fucking good bike builder, you're going to get the exposure. You could get the money. You're going to get magazines. Dude, everybody that came through our show, A side and B side, it's about shining a spotlight on garage builders. You're going to see these guys from the Idle Hand Show in magazines that you adore. Okay. For the rest of this year, they're all going to have features. They're going to be everywhere, dude. That's the other cherry on the cake is, yeah, you could win some money, but you're also going to just get exposure. More people are going to be like, I want to see what this guy's doing,
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, anybody can submit a bike. We're not going to disqualify anybody. If it's your first time building, come on in. We had guys in the 12. We had several people that really, honest to goodness, it was their first full build, But if you have that heart, dude, you can make it to the final with sick shit. If you have like a shop, you're a lone dude, you have a shop and you put out bikes, you do bike builds, like you're welcome to fucking build for our show too. You know what I mean? If you're a couple of chuckleheads, you can build a bike together, but the spirit of the show, again, it's up to the judges. There's no rules on who can submit a bike. It's up to the judges. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Start building that bike, spread the word. If we don't get a lot of builders this second year, all right. So let's say we get 25 builders. We're not doing idle hands and I'm canceling the podcast. I'll be too embarrassed to go on living probably. So I really want to get at least 100 builders to submit their bikes. We did 150 in our first year. I hope we're not losing steam. If you've competed previously, we have no rules about that, right? You can compete again. I don't care if you won.
Mm-hmm.
Doom Cult. You can submit a bike and you can win again. All right. If you're fucking Tiger Woods, dude, you can win the PGA Open fucking whatever the fuck that golf shit is called. You can win it year after year after year until you're dethroned. Okay. So anybody can be a part of this. And I'd love to see some of the builders come back. It has to be a new bike.
Fuck yeah.
Don't just tear apart your bike that you built last year, do an explode. We don't like that bullshit. Okay. We're not playing those games, honey. All right. So you got a new project? Let's do it again. Let's see what you got this time around. Maybe you win it this time. You can come every single year and build for this show until you fucking win it if you want. I'd love to see it.
Yep. Me too. For sure. Real quick, I just want to reiterate and hammer this one thing real quick. The first time that you submit a photo of your bike, you're going to do it through the website, through the submission form, and then we are going to post you on the Idle Hands page and invite you to be a collaborator. Then once we've done that and you accept, you are officially in Idle Hands. Every single time after that, on October 1st, on January 1st, on April 1st, you are going to generate a post that is an update showing everything that you've done, whatever you want to show, a photo of your bike. This is what I've done, blah, 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 blah. Then you are going to add us as a collaborator. And then the judges are going to see it. The 3 judges are all on Instagram actively. So they are going to be watching your progress via Instagram. You're not going to be emailing them separately going, look what I did this week. They're going to be watching. So there is no requirement for how often you post what you're doing to your bike. But the more you post and show, the more the judges see. You know what I mean? We can't necessarily guarantee that every single A and B sider is going to get an hour of FaceTime with the judges the morning of the show. So whatever you show them throughout the course of the competition, that's building their database in their head. So if you're aiming to be in the top 12 or whatever, you're going to want to show them what's going on, right? Yeah. It definitely helps. If you post 4 times and that's only the submission and then the 3 cuts, they might miss some shit that you did. You know what I mean? They might.
You better be able to stand to go,
hey, come here
on some business, because we did have,
right,
Jimmy Aiden, H79 Chopper. That's exactly what he did. Was he just had a sick ass bike. He was the only one that didn't do an interview with us either. He wasn't into all that limelight shit, and he was in the final 12, and his bike was fucking sick, dude. So 100%. There's no social media requirement, but it definitely helps because that's where people follow along. So tag us in your stories, tag us in your posts, and we're just going to be reposting that shit on and on and on.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah. Important note too is, and we'll get to this, like every time there's an update, we'll go back through it all just to make sure that you understand. But yeah, that first one through the website is just so everybody that's involved in the show, I have a way to get a hold of you outside. I don't want to lose track of people we get so many DMs and all that shit. I'm spreadsheet man. All right. I'm a new superhero in the DC universe, dude. I have my Excels. I got everything organized. When you submit, it automatically goes into an Excel. I have a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. I got real fancy with it this year because I want to make sure that I do right by all the builders. That's my biggest regret last year is I don't think I did enough for the builders, and I want to do even more this year. So I need to be able to keep track of you guys, get a hold of you guys, and make sure I know like if I want to send you a welcome packet, you can get that. If I want to make sure that you have some information that's really important, I got your email, I got your Instagram. I don't have to go through messages and be like, when did this person fucking, I can't do that. So, but yeah, post often, it's fun to follow along, like I'm on there all
Mhm.
goddamn day. I'll repost if you tag me in some Idle Hands or Idle Hands and Low Life podcast, right? We're a two-trick pony.
And no luck. I don't
No
care. I'll
luck.
repost all your
Rhino
shit.
Resto.
I'm here for all of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll
I'm here for all
repost it
of
all
it.
over the fucking place. We want you, if you want some notoriety, you want people to know what you're doing. When I go on Instagram, I want to see people building choppers. That's what I want to see. So please give me some content that I want to actually watch. I don't want to see
Fuck
someone
yeah.
doing a fucking TikTok dance and lip syncing a goddamn song that I've never heard because I'm too old. All right. I want to see some chopper builders. So yeah, that's the plumb skinny of it. That's how you're going to get involved in the show. That's how you're going to continue to be a part of the show. And again, follow along. We'll update the website as new information comes out. I'll make sure that we have the timeline on there. I'll make sure that, you tune into the Low Life podcast. You won't regret it. Okay. This show is the greatest. It's the greatest chopper show in the history of chopper shows. The Low Life podcast is the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts. So you're going to want to follow both of us, and you're going to want to tune in every Friday. We're on episode 420, hombre, and we've never missed a Friday. And I don't intend to. I don't intend to do it.
420.
422.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did I say 420? Because it sounds like something I'd say.
You may have. It may have just been a Freudian thing. I couldn't tell. 422. That's fucking crazy. Damn, we missed the.
That's 422 Fridays of Low Life choppers. Yeah. All right, and we're gonna keep it rolling. So tune into the Low Life podcast. Drops every Friday morning. Go to YouTube, subscribe. Go to Spotify, subscribe. We have all our links to our shops and socials on our website, in our Instagram bio. Follow along. It's going to be a fun time. All right. Let's get into what we have planned so far for Idle Hands 2027. All right. So now you're in it. You've submitted your bike. You're chopping it up. What's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow here? What do we have in store for you? Danny, what do we have in store for these people? We're kicking this off. It's a 3-day show this year. We're kicking it off on Friday. Yep. What are we doing?
So on Friday, let me preface this whole next segment by saying that most of this is speculative at this point, or at least moderately speculative. We haven't nailed down everything that we're about to talk about, but we're giving you, this is our idea. This is what we want to happen. This is how we want it to look. So we have things in place. We're working on it, but this is how we want it to look. So stick with us. But Friday, we're hoping that we are going to actually get access to a real race surface of some sort, whether that's a drag strip or a road circuit or an oval or something, right? And then we want to have Kenny and Fat Man do another drag thing, but we want that to be essentially its own event. We want the drag races to be timed and have, the vintage class and the Japanese class and the bagger class, whatever, you know what I mean? And then there's awards and shit for that, whoever fucking wins gets a motor or something like that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we want to do it at a place so that there's an actual course for these guys to drag on. But also, we want to bring all the vendors out, and we want to do an all-day thing on Friday. We want to have everybody out on Friday. Everybody's hanging. We at the food trucks, all that other shit during the day. And then at night, we're going to roll into a pre-party. We're not going to do like we did last year. We're going to do a pre-party for everybody. We got a really cool spot that Rhino and I have been eyeing for a long time. And we're working out details with that. And that's where our pre-party is going to be, so that everybody can show up there. We're all going to hang out, party, cool backdrops, yada, yada. More to follow, obviously, on that. But that's going to be our Friday as far as we're concerned right now.
Yeah.
I miss anything?
We really wanted to... The drags are so sick. We really wanted to do more with that and not just have it like we want to have like legit drags. So yeah, we're working with Kenny and Fat Man on having like a whole day of fucking racing and motorsports and shit. Chopper drags,
Right. I
all
was
that
going to
shit.
say, right. We can incorporate some of the chopper games into it too. You know what I mean? Depending
Yeah.
on the space. Like if there's some grass and stuff, we can do the slow race and the barrel push and all that shit there so that, you know what I mean? Keep everybody engaged. We want to have a cool, chill hangout spot for everybody.
Yeah.
And you get to watch some fucking motorcycles racing.
Yeah. And hopefully it's at a legit dragway. That's what we're working on right now. And we also want vending. So our vendors that come out, we want them to be able to vend multiple days. So Friday, wherever we're doing the drags, if it's at a speedway or whatever, you get vending 2 days instead of 1 day. So yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be during the day. It's gonna be loud, engines, maybe some accidents. Hopefully not, but everybody, maybe the guy's a douchebag and he deserved it, and we can all laugh about it later. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. How about that? An accident, nobody gets hurt. The bike's fine. It's still funny. And then yes, the pre-party, it was really important for me this year to be able to have everybody at the same one. I loved last year that there was a bunch of them just popping up, that the people that were a part of the show just put on by themselves. So creative, so cool. But this year, I want to just have one spot. Everybody knows where to report to. And there's going to be bikes. There's going to be beers. There's going to be it's going to be an actual big welcoming party. And it's going to be close to where the venue is, right? So you can stay downtown. The other thing is we're going to get better blocks for hotels and camping. So we'll have some better stuff for that and coordinate that better, because there was definitely some hot spots that a lot of people ended up going to. And then there were some people that were kind of off the beaten path. So we want to make sure that if you want to be where the party is, you know where the party is. And if you don't want to be where the party is, you know where to avoid, and also get some discounts. So we have a lot more time to plan, and we have a lot of feedback actually from a lot of the people that came this year, Idle Hands 1, where they stayed and if it was cool or not. So we're going to be talking to those places, and we'll get that all up on the website too, so you don't have to ask us. It'll just be on the website with the links and all that shit. The website's going to be pretty big. Instead of handling everything in a fucking Instagram DM. And by the way, I'm sorry if you've messaged us and we didn't respond, because there's 2 of us doing it, and sometimes like we miss stuff, and like I'll go back and I'll see that like maybe Dan looked at a message and he's like, oh, that's for Ryan, and it didn't like get flagged or something, and then I'm like, oh fuck, that was like 3 months ago. So I'm sorry in advance if we don't get to the DMs. My intention is to answer every single DM that we get.
Yeah, for sure.
Something, fucking emoji, a hell yeah brother, or whatever. So don't let it discourage you. We probably just missed it. We're definitely not ignoring you. And reach out again and be like, hey, fuckface, you're not going to answer me? And then I'll be like, oh shit, it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
All right. So Friday night, we're going to do the pre-party. We're going to have an Idle Hands beer again. It's going to be different than the one that we did last year. And then finally, Friday night, we're just going to, that's it. That's it for Friday night. We're going to turn in early because we got to get up early Saturday for the big damn show. Now, we have a lot of cool stuff planned. Obviously, we're going to take what we have. It's going to be at Manchester Harley again. All right. The day of the show, they were like, we got to do this again, guys. Can we please do this again? All right. And we were like, fuck yeah, dude. You guys have been a great partner to us. I'm so stoked that they wanted to do it again. I'm so stoked. All you dirty chopper guys and gals, you guys left that place immaculate. You drank them out of house and home. There was no beer left, and you still had your composure. That's how I know you guys are fucking legit as fuck. Nobody had to go around sweeping. You know what I mean? Everybody got their garbage in a fucking garbage can. You guys are beautiful human beings. You're not a bunch of filthy litter bugs. Anyway,
we don't care what they say about you.
Saturday, we're extending the hours. Okay. We want to pack 10 pounds of lighting in a 5-pound sack. All right. So we're going to be going right now. The plan is 10 to 10. We're going to open a little bit earlier. We're going to run it a little bit later. We're going to have not a block of bands, but we're going to have bands playing throughout the day. We're going to have events going on throughout the day. We're going to have more carnival games. We're going to have more food, more drink, more of everything that you wanted from Idle Hands 1. And if the stars align just right, we're going to have a Ferris wheel. I've got my eyes. I'm dead set on getting a Ferris wheel. How cool would it be to be up in a Ferris wheel looking down on the Idle Hand show?
It has to happen. We have to make it happen.
We got to get that going. So we want more carnival games, more cool shit to do. It's just going to be, hopefully, there won't be as much setup for everybody. If you want to be a show helper next year, we will open that up as we get a little bit closer. I don't want to open it up right now. There's going to be a way to do that. Obviously, it's going to be similar to the submissions. Same with vending and sponsoring. We don't have that locked down yet, how we're going to be doing that, but it's going to be similar to the submissions in that I don't want to field a bunch of DMs. I miss stuff, like it's not organized. So we'll have a place where if you want to be a carny, if you want to be a vendor, if you want to be a sponsor, you can apply in an area on our website, but we're not opening that up quite yet. So don't hit us up on Friday and be like, I want to be a part of it. We know a lot of the people that were a part of it last year are going to want to be a part of it again. And the reason we want to do it differently is we want to do more for our carnies. We want to do more for our vendors, more for our sponsors. So we need to get this shit locked down. We need to be very organized about it, because Idle Hands 2, the spirit of the show is the same. The people that are going to come and make the trek out here are going to be the same. The only difference is me and Dan are going to be more organized so we can do more for you. We want to do more for the people involved with the show. We want to do more for the builders. We want to do you justice. And that was the only regret I have from Idle Hands 1, is that I couldn't do more for the people involved. And I'm so appreciative.
I agree.
Of all the people that donated stuff and sponsored the show and came out to vend and built bikes for the show. You have my eternal respect. You guys did it selflessly. That was the true magic of Idle Hands 1, is just the community coming together to put the show together. Wouldn't have happened without anybody that was involved in the show at any level. So I want to do more for everybody that's involved this year, and I want to make sure that you don't get lost in the sauce. I'm going to keep it organized and make sure that you get every little bit as much as you deserve for being a part of this show. So we'll open that stuff up at a later date. Right now, we're just concentrated on the submissions. So the day of the show, go for it.
To that point, I was just going to, that was a perfect segue before you just kept going, to shout out some of the people who we're doing our best to delegate. That we're taking the showrunner thing seriously this year. We want to, like he's saying, be a lot more organized so that we can do more for people. I agree. I wish the art show is going to haunt me forever. I wish I could have done a lot more for the artists and had a better display and all that other stuff. So we're delegating things to people so that we can focus better on those fine details and whatnot. And I'd like real quick to shout out some of our people who are going to be helping take some things over for us. Shout out to Fish Tank. He's going to give us a lot of help with the games and kind of help oversee that and whatnot. And it's going to be a big collective effort as far as building stuff, because we want to keep the same DIY thing. Like, we want a Ferris wheel. We're not going to make the Ferris wheel, though. You know what I mean? But we want to make a bunch of.
That's an insurance.
We still want to make a bunch of games.
Insurance's dream. A handmade Ferris wheel.
Might as well just put a diving board on top of Harley and be like, go ahead. So no, but we are still going to have. We do want to have like a lot of handmade, hand-built games and things of that nature to keep people occupied or whatever. So shout out to Fish. He's going to help us with that. Obviously, Kenny and Fat Man and their whole crew. As far as the drag day, they're going to take care of that. Our freak show is going to be entirely taken over by John Moorhead and Bubba from Vintage Groove Paint. John, being a previous judge, he knows exactly in and out how the show works. He's all on board. Same with Bubba. They were instrumental out here in helping us. They both they just, for whatever reason, they gravitated right toward parking the bikes and situating everybody and making sure the builders were all set and stuff. So it was like, that was it. So brief conversation. Those guys are taking it over. Thank you guys so much for that. And they're going to handle the whole deal. So the best bikes in the country. La Spada, we haven't gotten here yet, but I wanted to shout out La Spada. They're going to be instrumental here on Sunday, which we'll get to in a second. And then Art Show is completely taken over by Muzzy at this point. Our boy Muzzy, Chad, is going to take over the Art Show. He's going to do it much more justice than I was able to. And Rhino and I are going to support him and give him everything he needs to make sure that the Art Show, it's going to be the same deal. It's going to be the Devil's Dozen. It's going to be the artists are picked for trophies. Their art is going to be whatever they decide. And their shit's going to be picked by somebody and given away at the end of the day on Saturday. It's going to be the exact same program as far as that's concerned. But Muzzy has full freedom as far as the artists and all that other stuff. So thank you so much, Muzzy, for taking that off my plate, because that was stressful, and I feel real bad about that. And then I haven't even told Rhino this, but I just got off the phone with John over at the Easy Co. right before we started recording, and we're going to basically have a swap meet section on Saturday, and they're going to head that up. So there's going to be the Idle Hands Easy Co. swap meet. They're going to have their own kind of like section of tents and whatnot, and they're going to curate that. So you're going to have a killer swap meet. Those dudes eat, live, breathe, sleep, shit swap meets. So, and we just wanted to have John and Craig still involved, of course, you know what I mean? And they wanted to be involved. So, so they're going to handle that. Thank you guys for that. No more hardcore at Idle Hands. So the music will be different this year. It's going to be, I want to go for, if you don't know them already, go look up the Death Wheelers. That's like number one. They're like number one on my list right now. I want to go for like bands like The Sword, Earthless, Red Fang, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like Mother Iron Horse from here, Leather Lung, all that kind of shit. Like that's kind of what I'm going for. I think that'll fit the vibe a little bit better. I think hardcore kind of threw it off a little bit. So I think that's not really what I'm going for. This year is going to be a little bit different. And like Rhino said, it's not going to be the show is at the end of the day. We're going to have bands playing while shit's going on. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is I want music that's going to be like the soundtrack to what's going on. So while people are doing the hot dog thing and people are getting fucking mustard covered hot dog slapped in their face, I want there to be some fucking like Black Sabbath-y, like, pump you
and
up
there
type
will
shit going in
be
the
hot
background.
dogs this year, guaranteed.
You're going to be handed a hot dog when you walk in. Everybody's getting a hot dog, a raw fucking hot dog. I swear
you can choose what hole
Bring
it goes
this to
in.
the hot dog thing. Yeah, exactly. Do with this what you will. Actually, maybe that's how we'll do people's chant voting is everybody gets a fucking hot dog. You have to put your hot dog in whichever grill of whichever fucking builder. Maybe that's how we'll do it. That's not bad. Lizzie's Glizzies.
It's not bad.
We'll hit you up. That's not a bad idea. So yeah, the music's gonna be a little bit different. That's pretty much everything I have on here. Do you want to talk about Sunday real quick?
Yeah, sure. I love that idea of having like little weenies that you put into a jar.
That is, yes.
That's just fun. I just want
to carry around a weenie.
Anything that's silly and fun just resonates with me. Just putting like Vienna sausages in a little mason jar next to the bike you like. I like that a lot.
Right.
The other, maybe if Malort sponsors us again, we'll have mason jars filled with Malort that you put little weenies in, and then if you have the most weenies, well, you have to drink it to count your weenies.
Woof.
All right,
that's awful. I would quit.
Sunday, we're going to do a little different this year. I really loved having the wrap-up day where it was chill. Like, I got a tattoo, got a chance to say goodbye to everybody. We want more of that. We want that, but we also want to incorporate people that are up in New Hampshire to be able to ride, because New Hampshire is one of the greatest places in America to ride your fucking bike. So what we want to do on Sunday is we're going to start a little early, and we're going to do a chopper brunch. So we're going to have, we already booked a place to do like coffee and breakfast and shit. But I was thinking I'm just going to line up like 100 tables, like fucking some fucking Viking shit, and everybody that comes, we just sit down, have like a buffet type breakfast, and you can just sit down and chill, have fucking Bloody Marys and beers and shit. And then that'll be where we stage after. If you got to go home, you can say your goodbyes, have a little breakfast, break some bread, and then jet. Or if you're staying a little longer and you want to go for a ride, our boys over at La Spada are going to be leading a ride. I don't know where it's going yet. Do we know where it's going yet?
Nope.
We don't know where it's going yet, but they're going to organize a sick
That's going to
ride.
be. Yep, that's going to be up to them, and not for nothing. I don't even really plan on like hounding them about it. They're setting up a ride. Rhino and I trust them. They know the areas. They know the cool spots. Trust me. If you don't follow 69W on Instagram, go follow and take a look. They know how to have fun. So we're going to I told them, we're going to get everybody to Harley. You guys organize a ride, your routes, your stops, your, whatever, all that other shit, the things you want to hit and see, your breakdown plans, all that other stuff. And that's that. So we're going to stay out of it as far as that's concerned. As depending on what happens on Sunday, I personally would like to be on the ride,
Same.
but we'll see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Because we might have to be
obviously
packing up.
Right. We're going to have to pack up the whole show and stuff. And obviously we want to be present to say bye to everybody. It was really nice this last year to have Sunday that was way more low key. There were almost no like outside foot traffic. It was just people who were there Saturday or people who were coming to grab their bikes or whatever. So it was really nice. And I like to have that opportunity. But I also really liked the opportunity to ride.
I loved having that time where it was like, all right, so the hustle and bustle is over. And the other thing is like Saturday was so much going on. It was like every hour there was something new and some other thing that we had to do. So Sunday was cool. It was just like at the end of the day, we got to break down. But right now we're just chilling, drinking beers, hanging out. And I want to do that again. But we're going to do an actual honest to goodness brunch. Like I said, we'll have this huge table. Maybe I'll be naked on it and you'll eat scrambled eggs off my naked body out of my belly button if we want to get fancy with it.
Woof.
And then if you're down to ride, dude, we got the ride going on. So book an extra day if you want to stick around for the ride.
Yeah.
If you got to head out on Sunday, definitely come and have some eggs and legs if I'm naked on the table. And that's what we got planned. So we got the drags, we got the pre-party, we got the fucking party on Saturday. We're going to be pulling the winter mad late. So the end of the show is going to be when we do it. I'd love to get the sun down, the lights up, all that shit. We're going to we're going to have a post party somewhere. We're going to figure that out depending on where everybody's staying. It's just going to be a fucking big old weekend of motorcycles, partying, drinking, smoking, whatever you're into, drinking fucking mug root beers and, whistling Dixie. It's just going to be just going to be 3 days of fucking awesomeness. And the most important part of this whole show is this next year's journey, seeing people build bikes. That's what I'm most excited about, what you guys are going to come up with. So if you're on the fence and you're like, man, I don't really want to just do it. You got nothing to lose. Throw your hat in the ring. I talked to 100 people that dropped out because they, life started lifing too hard. They had a baby, they lost a job, but whatever the fuck happened, doesn't matter. Get in on it because 3 months from now, maybe your circumstances change. Maybe you're like, fuck, I regret dropping out or not submitting one. Because once submissions are closed, you're out for the year. And then you're looking at 2028, kid. That's a long motherfucking ways away.
Even if your situation doesn't improve and you're like, I can't come up with anything for the first update, you're still a B-sider. So if you're one of the people like me that isn't going to actually start your build until fucking April, that's okay. You can still do that. You can still be a B-sider. Just do it yourself. You know what I mean? If you're we said this last year's intro episode as well. I want to reiterate this. If you are a B-sider, if you get, you get eliminated in a round or whatever, and then you're like, fuck it, and you pass off your bike, you bring your bike to the local shop and have them build your engine and then have somebody else paint it for you and have somebody and you don't really build that bike anymore, you're not B-side anymore. That's not, you show up to the ride-in show. The bikes in the Idle Hands competition, A-side and or B-side. Because remember, the B-side, you're eligible for that redemption pick up until the redemption pick. The entire show. I forgot where I was going with that. But those bikes are going to be built by their builders, and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's what we're looking for. It's honest, just It's a for fun competition that potentially has a $10,000 prize at the end of it. And like Rhino said, we're gonna try and do a lot more to sweeten the pot for everybody across the board, the people who get involved, the people who help, and all that other shit. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fucking fun. I can tell you that.
Yeah, so don't wimp out. You have
Nope.
it in you. I know it. And maybe you don't think you do, but try. That's what it's about, is trying. And you have nothing to lose. At the end of the day, if you fucking have to bow out or whatever, you're still building a bike, and you're going to surprise yourself, and there's so many people in this competition that push themselves. They bought new tools. They got their TIG welder, like they leveled up. That's what we want. We want more bikes, more choppers. We want better choppers. We want it done the right way, right? This isn't for fucking Instagram clicks and shit. You're going to show up in New Hampshire and everybody's going to know you're a fucking culture vulture if you are one. So just do things the right way in your real life too. This isn't just about choppers. This is just how to be a good person, Help people out around you, swap parts, support your homie does small run of parts, boost him up. Get the people that matter the light that they deserve, in a world where you scroll on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook and it's all a bunch of fucking losers that haven't created anything original. They're lip syncing fucking songs they didn't write. They're doing stupid dances they didn't come up with. They're fucking losers, dude. It's time for cool people to have their time in the limelight, right? You build a fucking chopper by yourself in the garage, you've earned something very valuable, Things that you can apply to your normal life, to your job, to your relationships. It's real shit, dude. I'm not being hyperbolic here. Choppers changed me, dude. Changed me. I was a fucking loser, dude, until I found choppers. And then I found out that you are worth a spit. You can do anything you set your mind to. That's what it did for me. I want that same joy for everybody here. It applies everywhere in your life. So get those submissions ready and have fucking fun, dude. Dan, is there anything else before we see these motherfuckers into their weekend?
That's it. Welcome to Idle Hand Show 2.
Welcome to the big damn show. Until next week, Lowlifes, get in the garage. Get an exploded view of your chopper ready to submit for Idle Hands 2. Get in trouble. Bend the laws. Bend the rules a little bit. You deserve it. You're a free person. Have fun. And never, ever stop chopping.